And we're back here, and as we told you on the coming in, we have Ysidro Gutierrez is with us here this morning. Good morning, Ysidro.
Good morning, Dave and Matt. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here with you today to talk about myself and what I want to do for Lubbock County.
Yeah, well, you're running for Precinct 3 uh, County Commissioner.
That's correct.
And this is a position that you've had in the past.
That's correct. So what I'd like to say to folks is that you don't have to wonder how I'm going to vote on the Commissioner's Court. I have voted the way I'm going to vote in the past. I've been a conservative voter on the court. I have a 100% conservative voting record. That means that I stand for low taxes, small government, slower growth, less spending. And Lubbock has had a spending problem in the last few years, so that's one of my priorities when I get on the court is to reverse that spending trend that we've seen over the last 10 years.
So as far as the Commissioner's Court now, what we've seen with this Expo Center, right now we've got a group that's talking about breaking ground in 6 months, but don't even have plans or anything. They've already paid for the land that they're going to donate back to the county. How do you handle that moving forward?
Well, let me tell you,
if you're one of the county commissioners.
Matt, it's no surprise. I've had that question asked about 20 times in the last month or so. So my position is that is a matter of transparency. And transparency is a top priority for me on the court. I want open, honest government. If we had transparency when this issue came before the court, it would not have happened because under the principle, the conservative principle of transparency, you want to know when, where, how much, and all of the where, when.
Well, the how much was way off too. I think we're off by about $15-20 million.
Sure. So what I'm saying to the public is that if I had been on the court, that would not have happened. There would have been enough conservative votes on there to wait on it, because even to this very day, we still do not know the details of this project. We only know a couple of things that have happened. One, the land has been purchased. Mm-hmm. The land is there. And the other is that they're planning to do something in June. Those are the only two things that we know for sure. There is a committee of citizens. That's wonderful. I love committees of citizens. Now, one of the things I do not like about this is that Lubbock County is supposed to appoint a county committee to be a director to this, and I do not like that. I don't like to have committees doing the job of the commissioners. If I'm responsible, I want to be the one that is listening and receiving information and making decisions. I don't want to have any recommendations from a committee, especially since all of these committees are political appointments, like the University Medical Center. The board of directors over there are all political appointments by the Commissioner's Court. And we've had that ever since UMC became a county hospital. I think that is a very good thing, but I still don't like the idea of citizens committees telling the commissioners what to do, because that's an out for the commissioners. That is a way for the commissioners not to make a decision on their own. That's a way for the commissioner not to think for themselves. They say, well, we got a recommendation.
Well, it's about responsibility,
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to give my responsibility and put it on you, Dave, or put it on you, Matt. Yeah. It's my responsibility. I'm the one who should put his neck on the chopping board and take the risk, not you. Mm-hmm. So that's my feeling about the Expo Center. If I had been on the court at that time, it would not have happened because there would have been enough votes to say no. Give us something solid, and we'll work with it.
Move it forward.
So you were on the court from 2005 to 2008, and see you a tech graduate with a master's degree. And boy, I'm impressed. You were a sergeant major for 20. Well, you were a sergeant major in the Army, and you were in the Army from 71 to 91. So 20 years service.
Well, what that says, Dave, is that I have leadership and teamwork. In the military, you never talk about one person doing something. It's always the team. And on the commissioner's court, it's a team effort. Yeah. You have to be able to talk to the commissioners and work with them to get things done. But you also have to talk to all of the other elected officials that are in the county government,
Right.
like the DA, the sheriff, the judges, the JPs, county clerk, the district clerk. Those are all elected officials.
And I don't think we've mentioned you are, of course, running in the conservative as a conservative in the Republican Party. Where remind me where District Precinct 3 is?
Well, District 3 is the largest geographical section of the county that comprises a precinct. It's a northeast quadrant, but it's more than a quadrant. And the reason for that, Dave, is because of the low population density in that side of the county compared to southwest Lubbock, for example.
Right.
Well, okay, so when you're talking about Precinct 3, and I know that they've got a lot of things that they've got commingled between all the precincts. When you talk about Precinct 3, that's the area where there's a lot of dirt roads where there should be paved roads, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done in that area. What are you looking at as far as Precinct 3? I guess we can go into this. What are your priorities in the next 4 years as county commissioner?
Matt, that is a wonderful question. I will be the elected representative of Precinct 3, but I am serving the people of Lubbock County. And I do have 4 top priorities. I'm glad that you asked me that. My first priority is to restore the reserve fund to the Lubbock County budget. There's been too much drawdown. We're down to about $9 million. It should be $50 million.
Now, with that, now I know that there was an article, I want to say it was probably, it may have been even as much as a year ago, talking about the fact that the county's going broke and nobody's paying attention to it.
Well,
is the county going broke, or are they just low on reserves?
The county is going broke, and I'm going to expand on that in a second. But let me tell you that the reason it's part of my 4-year goal is because it's going to take 4 years to restore the reserves to where they're supposed to be, probably about $50 million or so. And the question that you asked, is the county going broke? The answer is yes, because there has been irresponsible spending. Like, for example, for 25, 30 years, we had KeyCorp providing IT services. Nobody ever questioned if KeyCorp was doing the job. They're doing the job. They're doing great. They're doing fine. And then all of a sudden, we add a $7 to $9 million expense by bringing in another IT provider when KeyCorp was doing fine. I never heard anybody say KeyCorp is not doing fine. They had the video visitation system at the county jail all set up, and it was working for 25 years. Why would you all of a sudden bring in another additional IT provider at $7 to $9 million expense? To me, that is irresponsible. If I had been on the court at the time, it would not have happened. I would have voted against it, taken it to the public and say, this is outrageous. We cannot do this. Let's call your commissioner, tell him that you agree with me, that there's nobody saying that KeyCorp's not doing the job. They were doing the job. They had been doing the job for over 25 years. Why add another $7 to $9 million expense? It was irresponsible, man.
Okay, well, Ysidro, we're going to have to take a break, and we'll come right back.
Okay. And we are back here on KFYO Mornings with Matt and Dave and Ysidro Gutierrez, who's running for Precinct 3 for Lubbock County Commissioner. And Ysidro, we talked off mic about how fast Lubbock is growing now. It's just exploding. With 40,000 students soon to be at Texas Tech, and the town is building and adding people. Unemployment rate is low. A lot of things for the future.
Dave, I was talking just before the break about my top 4 priorities for the next 4 years.
Right.
Okay, 4 priorities for 4 years that will take 4 years to do. Your question is kind of like serendipitous because it falls right into my top priorities for Lubbock County.
You fell into his trap. That's what he's saying.
There has been, yeah, that's right. Lubbock is considered to be a high density drug traffic area.
Yes, it is.
And so
Big
there's
problem.
been a huge growth in population. There's been a huge growth in crime. One of my priorities is to add a pod to the jail. I was on the court when we built the current jail. I was a commissioner at the time. At that time, it cost about $12 million to build a pod. and the blueprint, the architectural design of the building is so that you can add pods as time goes on and the needs grow. The number one responsibility of all government at all levels is public safety. We need to have a pod added to the jail because it's 1,500 inmate capacity is right at where they can continue adding criminal convictions. Now, in line with that, Dave, my other top priority is to work with the state legislature to add a criminal district court to Lubbock County. We haven't had a criminal district court added. One of the problems with the jail population is that it takes a long time to get a convicted criminal through the justice system. So we need more courts to get more criminals through the system to reduce the jail population. So over the next 4 years, and it'll take 4 years to do this. Everything that I'm talking about here will take 4 years. These are my 4-year priorities. I'm going to work with the state legislature. I'm going to say, gentlemen, Lubbock County is growing like the rest of Texas. We need another criminal district court. Let's add it for the sake of public safety, so that we can reduce our costs at the Lubbock County Jail. And those are 2 public safety priorities that I have. So there's 3 of them. My 4th priority is to build the roads up at precinct number 3 and all of Lubbock County. One of the things that the previous court did was to have the public approve a $100 million bond for road improvement and construction. I have 2 thoughts on that. First off, the way the system was designed by the legislature for roads is to pay as you go. I'm a conservative. I am a pay as you go kind of guy. And so how did we get to a point where there had to be a $100 million bond to pay for roads in Lubbock County? It was because of mismanagement. We don't need to spend $5 million to do a study. We have a road engineer, but now we're wasting $5 million just to study the needs for Lubbock County roads. That is outrageous. It's unheard of. Why would you spend $5 million when you have a hired professional to do the work that has been the way it's been done for the last 100 years? Now, all of a sudden, we got to have a $5 million study? That's wasteful to me. That's one of the reasons that I'm saying that Lubbock County is going broke. I would have voted against that. We have an engineer. You go out there and you assess the problem and put a priority on our desk, and we will use existing dollars to correct them as best as we can, the way that we have been doing it for the last 100 years. I wouldn't make a sharp turn where it puts Lubbock County in dire financial straits as a result of the spending, like the spending on the IT, the spending on the road study, the $100 million bond, and then it just goes on and on.
So do you think the new commissioner's court is moving in the right direction?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I think Jason Corley is the guy who shed the light of truth on the medical examiner's office, which we needed to do. So I'm very, that's a great compliment I have for him. And also for Chad Say, I compliment him for taking that position on assuring that we had a effective tax rate. So both of them are showing strong conservative leanings, and I am a solid, hardcore conservative. I will be able to work with them. You don't have to wonder how I'm going to vote. You don't have to try to predict how I'm going to vote. I'm going to vote for smaller government, lower taxes, slower growth, sound, sensible, responsible fiscal policies. The citizens of Lubbock say to us, we want to be safe in Lubbock County. To be safe in Lubbock County, we need jail, we need a DA, we need the courts, we need to fund all of those at the proper level.
Do we need more sheriff's deputies?
If we build a pod, yes, we will need to hire 30 more sheriff's deputies for the county jail. But remember, this is a 4-year project. And the 4-year project that I'm proposing is going to take 4 years to do, and it's going to be incremental over 4 years.
Are we going to need a bond for that?
No, there should be no bond necessary. I do not believe that it would be necessary.
We're up against the clock, Ysidro. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
In your run for Precinct 3, Lubbock County Commissioner.
I'm asking Precinct 3 Republican voters to come out and vote for me, please.
There you go.